Stephon Castle is currently changing the San Antonio Spurs in ways that are becoming impossible to ignore.
The Spurs are selling out for Bill Land.
Just a few months ago, many saw him as a project, a player with top-level athleticism but questionable offensive skill. Now, he's proving he might just be the missing piece alongside Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox. Now that Victor Wembanyama has been diagnosed with a blood clot in his shoulder, he will miss the remainder of the season. For the Spurs, this is a disaster, but for Stephon Castle, this might be his chance to prove his full potential. And playing with Fox by his side, the league should be aware of this duo, especially when Wemby is back. Castle's rise truly took center stage during All-Star Weekend. It was supposed to be a showcase for the league's best young talent, but Castle turned it into his personal highlight reel. His participation in the dunk contest put his jumping ability on display, and then he stole the show in the Rising Stars game, earning MVP honors. The Rising Stars MVP isn't just another trophy, it's a message.
Point here. Stephon Castle stops on a dime, knocks it down and says,
Castle's ability to shine on a stage filled with future NBA stars showed that his time is coming. Before we move on, I would be very happy if you could subscribe. Let us reach 1,000 subscribers in the coming month. Let's be honest, Castle's scoring numbers from earlier in the season weren't anything to brag about. Through the first few months, he averaged around 10 to 12 points per game on shaky shooting. But in the last 15 games, he's averaging 18 points per game, and the way he's getting those points is what really matters. His finishing at the rim has improved a lot, thanks to his speed and body control. He's figuring out how to use his 6'6" size to take hits and still finish plays. More importantly, he's hitting his free throws at a high rate, something that makes defenses pay when they try to foul him inside. His three-point shot is still a work in progress, but his willingness to take those shots is a good sign. Even shooting around 30% from deep, defenses are starting to respect his range, opening up driving lanes for him and his teammates. Before the trade deadline, Castle's name was involved in plenty of trade talk. Many believed the Spurs might move him to get a win-now player. Instead, they landed De'Aaron Fox and kept Castle, forming what could be one of the most exciting backcourts in the NBA. Fox's top speed and passing have already had a big effect on Castle's game. In their first game together, Castle exploded for 33 points, showing amazing efficiency, 10 for 11 from the free throw line, 3 for 5 from 3, and an overall 66% shooting from the field. Fox's ability to break down defenses has made life easier for Castle. He's getting more open spot-up chances, and his off-ball movement has improved. But it's not just about offense. Fox's presence also allows Castle to take on tougher defensive tasks, something that's quickly becoming one of his greatest skills. Castle's mix of size, length, and quickness makes him a perfect perimeter defender. He already has the tools to be a lockdown defender, and his chemistry with Wembanyama is turning the Spurs' defense into a nightmare for opposing teams. The 6'6" guard moves well side to side, fights through screens, and has a natural skill for getting steals and deflections. His defensive rating has improved a lot over the last month, and if he keeps growing at this rate, it wouldn't be shocking to see him in all defensive talks within a couple of seasons. Playing next to Fox and Wembanyama means Castle doesn't have to carry the offensive load every night. This allows him to focus even more on his defense, something that has made the Spurs a much tougher team to score against. If there's one thing stopping Castle from becoming an absolute star, it's his shaky shooting. While he's improved at finishing inside and making free throws, his three-point shot is still unreliable. Defenses still dare him to shoot from deep, and in today's NBA, that's a problem. But here's the exciting part. Castle isn't running from the challenge. He's taking more threes, working on his form, and showing signs of improvement. If he can even become an average three-point shooter, his offensive game will rise to another level. Castle is only a rookie, but the signs of greatness are there. He's already making an impact on both ends of the floor, and his improvement over the last month is proof that he's far from reaching his full potential. The Spurs now have a core of Wembanyama, Fox, and Castle, a trio that could take them deep into the playoffs in the coming years. With Wembanyama controlling the paint, Fox leading the offense, and Castle growing into an elite two-way guard, the pieces are coming together. The recent news of Wembanyama's season-ending injury due to deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder has thrown the Spurs into uncertainty. The 7'3" star was averaging 24.3 points, 11 rebounds, 3.8 blocks, and 3.7 assists this season, making a strong case for Defensive Player of the Year and even an All-NBA spot. With Wembanyama out, Castle's role will grow even more. The Spurs now depend even more on his defensive skills and offensive growth. This is his chance to show how he can help the team win without Wembanyama's control in the paint. Fox and Castle must now lead the team through the last part of the season. While making the playoffs might be tough in the stacked Western Conference, Castle's progress in Wembanyama's absence could be key for the team's future. The chemistry he builds with Fox now could set the foundation for next season when Wembanyama returns. It's a bold prediction, but if Castle keeps going at this pace, an all-star spot isn't out of the question in the next 2 to 3 years. His athleticism is top level, his defense is already strong, and his scoring efficiency is getting better fast. With the right growth, Castle could become one of the best two-way guards in the NBA. His potential is sky high, and he's in the perfect situation to make the most of it alongside Wembanyama and Fox. San Antonio hasn't been a real contender since the days of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. But with Wembanyama and Castle leading the way, the Spurs' future is as bright as it has been in years. Castle is proving to be a key piece of this puzzle. His growth this season is clear, and if he keeps improving at this rate, he might just be the missing link that turns the Spurs into a powerhouse once again.